We're 21 months old at this point. We've raised 25 million in capital. Team's 25 people as of yesterday. So continued growing and hiring. Decided that we wanted to solve the root cause of the problem, which was effectively trying to rebuild the go-to-market platform from the ground up, really focusing on the customer data to begin with. And so Clarify really is an autonomous CRM, but what does that mean? It means that we're a CRM that does a lot of work for you instead of you having to do work for your CRM. We did 7.5 million seed at the gate and then got preempted on our Series A, which we just kind of wrapped up with as well. Ended closing around a little over 18 million.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the A to B podcast, where we talk to the best Series A founders and what it's going to take them to get to Series B. Today, we have Patrick Thompson from Clarify. Thompson or Thompson?
Thompson.
Or T? Nice. Okay. So for those who don't know, Clarify is the best CRM product that's ever existed. It's the autonomous CRM that helps you sell more, automates pipeline creation, meeting admin, and CRM updates so you guys can focus on closing, not clicking. And I will be talking a lot about them because we actually use them. But yeah, nice to meet you, Patrick.
Remy, I'm excited to be here. We're very excited to talk to 80 Clarify customers and hope to provide value for the audience here.
Yeah, probably one of the reasons you ended up talking to us today because we were happy customers. But so Patrick is a second-time founder. You co-founded Iteratively before and sold it to Amplitude. You were then director of product at Amplitude and then led design teams at Elation. I think it's really nice for people to know these kind of backgrounds because people get a bit insecure when they see other founders doing so great so quick, but it is not your first rodeo, and I'm sure it was a bit messier the first time. But yeah, tell us about Iteratively.
No, happy to. Iteratively, customer data platform company. We spent a bunch of time after I left the last team to do customer discovery. Ended up seeing that customer data was the number one challenge that teams face. So ended up building a solution. We're solving kind of the symptom at the end of the day within the market, but not the root cause. And then inevitably ended up deciding to join forces with Amplitude. Was there for about 3 years and wanted to leave to start another company. Did that with my previous co-founder, Andre here, back as a CTO here. And this time around decided that we wanted to solve the root cause of the problem, which was effectively trying to rebuild the go-to-market platform from the ground up, really focusing on the customer data to begin with. And so Clarify really is an autonomous CRM, but what does that mean? It means that we're a CRM that does a lot of work for you instead of you having to do work for your CRM. We're 21 months old at this point. We've raised 25 million in capital. The team's 25 people as of yesterday. So continue growing and hiring and have great customers like yourself using us and giving us a ton of feedback. So really appreciate that. We're purpose-built for early stage companies today, really trying to build the best CRM that customers love in market. And that's our litmus test out there.
Yeah. How long do you guys say you were open for, or when did you guys start?
We started in January of last year. So yeah, very, very early still.
So 19 months, you said?
21 months. Yeah.
21 months. Nice. So it usually takes the average company about 25 to 30 months to go from C to Series A, whereas you guys went from inception to Series A in even less time. And your Series A was what, 15 million? Average is usually 12. You guys hit it at 15, right?
Yeah, we did 7.5 million seed at the gate and then got preempted on our Series A, which we just kind of wrapped up with as well. Ended closing around a little over 18 million in total. But yeah, I think the thing for us is that we're taking on one of the most ambitious challenges I'd say that exists out there in software, which is trying to reinvent the largest category in SaaS, which is your CRM. There's good incumbents out there and there's a lot for us to build in order to get a minimum lovable solution out the door. So we thought about capitalization very differently this time around, and just in the way that we thought about hiring as well. We hire really good folks on the team, have some of the best engineers on the market. And at the end of the day, that takes capital to be able to fund. So yeah, we definitely went out quicker out the gate this time around than the previous startup. The previous startup, we raised 5.5 million, but we only spent about $500K on R&D prior to the acquisition. So it was very, very, I'd say conservative with that startup. This one, we're a lot more aggressive.
Yeah, I think a first-time founder a lot of time thinks of starting a CRM, and it's a really hard thing to execute. And it's one of those things that's like an iceberg where it might seem a bit simple, but all the complications under it, the flexibility of how every single person's a humongous headache. But I guess going into hiring, one question we like to ask is what is your one litmus test? How did you know that these 20, said you're 25 people, so these 23 minus CTO are who they are? What do you look for?
A lot of these people we worked with before, right? So we've hired the best people to work with regardless of company and location. So we have people from Amplitude, we have people from Iteratively, we have people from Atlassian. Actually, quite a lot of folks from Atlassian actually joined this company this time around as well. And we're trying to hire the best people regardless of location. So we're a remote company by default. We do have a small office here in Seattle, and the company's headquartered here. But really just trying to hire a lot from within our network, people that, one, match our cultural values, two, are the top 1% of what they do, and three, are really excited about the ambitious and the audacity of the problem I think we're tackling.
It is audacious, and to face Audacity and win is, I guess you're going to say you haven't won yet because you're early, but
So early, yeah, it's getting started, man. It's like we barely left we're just exiting the gate from on the track right now.
So I'm sure you've met a ton of great, let's say, engineers at all these large companies. What is it culturally that you like about your team? What made you think about some specific people?
The sense of ownership. I mean, this is one of the things that I actually learned from Amplitude, which was the importance of the Amplitude values was humility, ownership, and growth mindset. So we tend to hire a lot of engineers who have both product sensibilities as well as have a high degree of ownership in the work that they do. Right? They want to be customer facing. They want to understand the problems. They want to understand how the work that they're doing ladders up to the overall business. And so that degree of ownership is something that we definitely tee off of quite a bit. It's not just, hey, am I building the thing, but am I building the right thing for the customer? And is it actually delivering value? And so I think a lot of folks get into the fallacy of, hey, my job is just to ship. But what's actually really important is like, hey, this is the thing that you're actually shipping. Is it meeting the customer's expectations or exceeding the customer's expectations? And for an early stage startup, that's so important because we're not hiring product managers. We have some designers on the team. We want engineers to own the outcome of the work that they do here.
So that's actually a great segue. So I'm actually working with a few of your engineers, beta testing some features, and I realize that they are both gathering feedback, deciding what features customers might like, implementing them, and then they're also the ones actually collecting feedback.
Yeah.
You guys don't use product managers. That's a bit unique, though. Like walk me through that thought process. I imagine that Elation and Amplitude have a ton of product managers.
Yeah. I mean, Atlassian had hundreds of PMs, right? Amplitude, I work with PM there, and it's funny because people are like,
"Yeah, you're director of product."
Yeah, product had PM report to me. And I think product is a discipline in of itself, right? Like it's a skill set. Like it's something that can be learned, just like engineering and design can be learned. You might have some innate of ability, but like for us, like we want to minimize the number of barriers between our engineers who are responsible for delivery and the customer. And at the earliest stages of a company, like the more people you hire, the more abstractions you have between the folks who's actually building the thing and the customer who's actually using the thing, the longer the feedback loop, the more chance for mistakes to be made when it comes to communicating requirements. So, we think of product as like an assistant. So like I help our team, but mostly I'm here as a coach, not necessarily as a player. Whereas they're the one that's on the field with our customers. And again, the goal is for them to get better and better at the skill over time. And like there's different engineers who are really, really good at it at our team, and there's some that are just getting started on that journey, right? And the goal is to coach them and provide them feedback.
Yeah, they're really growing. I think it speaks to you as a leader, right? I guess as a product leader, you're used to developing product people. And so you're able to instill that. Would you say that helped a lot?
For sure. I think it's just, and again, this isn't just me, like our CTO really cares a lot about this as well, right? So, he's very good at product, right? He could be a like CTPO if you wanted to at any organization, right? He's very good at like that job. And so if it's something that you care about within like the leadership team and it's something that you want to hire for and instill as far as company values, like you just have to kind of make it happen. I think there's great examples of organizations that do this well. I'd say when I was at Atlassian, like we did the 3-in-a-box, 3-legged stool kind of model where you had design, engineering, and PM, which works. I'd say within, especially with AI, especially with some of the tools that you can use today, it's like we prefer smaller teams, higher degree of autonomy. We want to have engineers be able to come up with an idea, validate that idea, and ship it all within a day. And it's really hard to do as a remote team when you have people across many different geos if you don't build that centralized subject matter expertise into the engineer.
Yeah, I feel like you're really spoiling your engineers. I don't think they're ever going to want to work anywhere else and just have to like, yeah, that's so nice. I can imagine how addictive that feeling of autonomy really is. Speaking of a bit back into the product before I ask something about your go-to-market, but you guys are more than a CRM, right? Like I'd almost say like you're an autonomous go-to-market platform. CRM maybe sounds familiar to customers. What would you define as what you were calling the actual cause of the problem and not a symptom?
Yeah. It's funny when thinking about like the category that we're going after, like CRM is probably the one that's top of mind for most people. So we do call ourselves a CRM in reality, we're a customer platform, right? So we're a data platform for all your customer data that's useful for sales, useful for marketing. It's also useful for product and post sales as well. And so like the first line of business app that we really launched was kind of more pipeline management, aka CRM. But we're working on things like sales engagement and marketing engagement software at the moment. We have some self-serve reporting built in, right, at the moment as well. And then working more, I'd say, towards post sales, so both success and support tooling. And the reality is we want all of that data in one place so that AI can make use of it, right? And like you end up having this huge problem within go-to-market today, which is this fragmentation of your customer data. This is why
It's
CDPs,
so fragmented.
yeah,
It has been beautiful seeing Clarify join me on my sales calls, read all my emails, update things constantly, a one-stop shop to ask all my questions about it. The other day I had forgotten to respond to a customer and it like nudged me. This like
yeah,
new beta feature you guys have, which is insane. And I think that customers might actually end up closing because of that. I'm gonna let you know when that does happen, but it's crazy how much of like an extension it feels
yeah,
and how it feels bright doing this like natively from the ground up instead of a bolt on like on HubSpot.
yeah. And this is the thing, right? It's like, I think for us this makes a ton of sense, right? Like we're kind of towing the line between being your own personal assistant and being kind of a system of record at the end of the day. And I
Yeah.
think we're spending a lot more time now on what we'd call this more ambient AI, this intelligence layer that can like kind of act as an extension of your brain. Because I think, even to your point earlier, like it's something that like just isn't done today, but does provide a ton of value. Right? My biggest self critique on the sales side for myself is just follow up. It's super labor
Same.
intensive to like. I wrap up my day. I've had a dozen calls. I have to follow up with everybody. And so for me, like having a CRM that can like help auto compose emails for me, help remind me if I follow up with somebody, they don't respond, or vice versa, they email me and I don't respond. It just really helps quite a bit. And so yeah, there's some things coming out in December, which I'm excited to
Same.
like, more on this context of this like agent built into the CRM that can kind of act as your co-pilot.
No, it's incredible. So I guess going into how busy your calls are because you have so much traction, you guys sped run to Series A. You also have a ton of customers, thousands that apparently that are happy to some degree, right?
Yeah.
So what would you say was your biggest growth lever from 0 to A?
Yeah, I mean, we raised our Series A prior to launching, so I'd say that's very atypical for most people,
True, but
right?
I was
And
a customer before you finished raising.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah. I think this is the thing that's always challenging, right? Which is like, hey, and actually, I'm giving a talk coming up next week. I'm like, what does it take to get to your Series A? But it's always funny, what does it take to get to your Series B? I would say, right now, the metrics that we were optimizing for early on is just like customers adopted onto the platform, right? And then how many of those are migrations from existing CRMs like HubSpot or Salesforce, or you name it, versus how many of those are net new. So some of the stuff that we're reporting to our investors and to prospective investors as well. And so those were, hey, can we get people that were using a CRM to move their workload from HubSpot to Clarify? And we ended up building some capabilities to make migration a lot easier. And like we showed that, like, yes, we can do that. It's like typically one of your biggest risky assumptions, specifically when system of record oriented, is kind of migrate people. And we were able to show that we could do that. And then we could show that we could just ship really, really fast. Right. And so speed is like one of the number one advantages as a company. And so continuing to have a high velocity and cadence of shipping. So for our Series A investor, he started actually as a customer of ours using the product for their own internal CRM use cases. And he just saw us shipping every single day. And he was like, well, okay, we might not be where I would expect you to be to go as a Series A, but I can see you getting to there based off the cadence that you have. And so that was enough. Now, when it comes to Series B, what we're really trying to optimize for Series B is just mass adoption of Clarify within organizations. Right? And so this is like, we're talking not going from where we are today with thousands of weekly active users to how do we get to tens of thousands of weekly active users using Clarify. And if we can show that this becomes a ubiquitous solution, right, and we have kind of the distribution angle figured out, I think we'll be really much further along. At the end of the day, like CRM is the most CRM and go-to-market tools in general are the largest expense in SaaS. So
They
like
are.
I'm not as worried about monetization as much as I'm worried about building a product that customers can love and proving that we can get in front of the customers at the right time with the right solution.
So let me ask you, did you get more customers pre or post launch?
We definitely got more customers post-launch, and we launched early for a variety of reasons, right? This is a relatively crowded space, but I think we're one of two new entrances into the space that
Mm-hmm.
are public. The other one has been out there for years. Everything else, in the context of like new entrances in the space are like early access or coming soon. very not out publicly yet. We're really building in public, and we tend to prefer that uh, operation or modality of operation here. And so for us, launching was really just to make sure that like, yes, like, hey, this product is good enough to get in front of customers' hands and get feedback from customers as well. And then two, we really wanted to experiment on some of the things that we're doing on the go-to-market and pricing model side as well, right? So like most CRMs charge based off users. We don't do that. We're an actual AI native CRM. We charge for work or labor in this context, right? So we're a consumption model. We don't charge based off seats. So that was something that was, I think we're the first CRM in market to do that. And that was something that we definitely wanted to get out early and start testing versus, waiting to the products further along and then going and testing the business model validation. So that was something that was pretty critical and one of those assumptions that we wanted to test quickly.
Do you have a specific product metric, something about how someone's using your product, or some sort of really critical North Star metric that you think will help you, if you optimize it, will get you to a Series B?
For
Something
sure.
a bit non-general.
Yeah. So there's the general, like, top level things around like active usage and adoption. Pretty general. Each pod, so we have 3 pods today. We have a relationship pod, engagement pod, and intelligence pod. The pod has their own individual North Star metrics. I think the one that is most acute when it comes to adoption and usage is like, can you show progression of work moving forward? So for CRM, that's like, are deals moving? Like, are you progressing deals through workflow? Are you updating fields on deals? But it is work happening in the system. And so for us, it's like when we build even some of our ambient features, it's like, is it helping progress the deal to close? And if we can show that we're able to move those metrics for customers, as an example, like you tell me, it's like, that's super sticky, right? Because like we're helping you close.
Yeah, moved it for me. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're going into this conversation, you're talking about how a nudge helped resurrect potentially an opportunity that you weren't tracking. Which is super great.
Nice. Well, I know we have a hearts up, so thank you, Patrick. So Clarify, not a smarter database, not just a CRM, autonomous go-to-market platform machine that really helps you close better deals and does the work for you. You can find them on Clarify.ai. Anything you want to tell the audience before you head out, Patrick?
No, it's great. If I can ever help, just feel free to reach out to me at patrick@clarify.ai or on LinkedIn.
All right. Cheers, man.